Now, when I came into this church, I was also involved in the debate as to whether we in this day and age can really believe that God created the world in 6 days.
Yes.
And I am happy to report that this church confirmed that we believe in a literal 6-day creation, which is problematic in the world.
Yes.
But there's another issue that wasn't addressed. And that is, how old is the earth? And there were so many opinions as there were people available. So I came into the world believing millions of years. And then I had to suddenly get used to the world was created in 6 days. It was impossible for me. And then I was supposed to keep a Sabbath. Now, if a day represented 1,000 years, well, then the argument was maybe he meant millions of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but everything would have been out of sync in the creation week. Everything's out of sync. The plants will come before the sun. Is he going to wait for millions of years for the sun to come to, you know, and the sea mammals are in the ocean before the mammals actually developed and come from, everything's out of sync. So you either have to totally discard what evolution says. If you want to marry them, you have serious problems. And then the age issue. And the argument, of course, is always radiometric dating. Perhaps you can put a link into some of those discussions on radiometric dating as to why they are not valid. Because they are based on assumptions. Because they're always based on a parent isotope which decays into a daughter isotope. And your presupposition is always that the parent isotope was the only one that was present in a rock, and the daughter isotope was not yet there because it had to decay into the daughter isotope. So your assumption is always there was only parent, no daughter. So if you find lots of daughter, then you must assume that it took whatever the half-life is, so many millions of years to arrive at the daughter. But what if there was daughter in the rock from the beginning? Every other mineral was there. Why shouldn't that one be there? Uranium, lead. Why must I assume there was only uranium and no lead?
Yes.
So the assumption determines how old something is. So it's based on an assumption. So can I say how old the earth is? No, I cannot. Now, in the times of Darwin, they didn't use radiometric dating. It hadn't been invented. So what did they have? They had Charles Lyell's observations. And they are not in accordance with what you see.
Yes.
Because all the layers are flat. And so there were all of these issues. So finally I came to the conclusion that I cannot use radiometric dating because it's based on an assumption, and your assumption determines the outcome. I cannot use that. Charles Lyell's idea is not consistent with what I see. What I see, and I went to all of the sites. I went on tour through the world to look at these sites. And what I found was catastrophism. And catastrophism does in a short period what uniformitarianism does over many millions of years. But this concept that the world is ancient and old is so instilled and ingrained in the minds of men that it's hard to shake it.
Yeah.
And then there is the question of ridicule. People are afraid of